Good morning, all. I'm Gayla Brock-Woodland, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer for the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. As part of today's Women in Business Summit, it's my absolute pleasure to be joined by Marie-Hélène Labrie. She's Senior Vice President and Chief Public Affairs, Communications, and Strategy Officer at Cogeco. And of course, she's a longtime member of our Council for Women's Advocacy. I've personally had the chance to work with Marie-Hélène, and I can tell you she's always positive, she's encouraging, and she's inspiring as a collaborator and a leader. Prior to joining Cogeco, Marie-Hélène helped position Enerchem as a global leader in the field of biofuels, and their Senior Vice President for Corporate Affairs and Communications. She's worked with companies from a variety of sectors as a communications consultant, and for many years, she held roles at CAE, including Director of Strategic Planning and Marketing. She has over 20 years of broad experience in government relations, public communications, and marketing. Marie-Hélène has a wealth of expertise and insight, and I'm really looking forward to our discussion. Marie-Hélène, thank you for joining us. We're delighted you're here.
Thank you, Gayla, for the kind introduction. Thank you for your kind words. And I'm very happy to be here with you this morning. And Gayla, I must say that the work that the Chamber has been doing on the issue of women leadership, women advocacy is wonderful. And I want to thank you and your team for such a great work. And your leadership is extremely key for this. And I want to thank you for all the work you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm wondering, can you provide an overview of where your organization is at with representation of women?
So yes, it's a good way to start the conversation. Representation of women is extremely key if we want to have more diversity and more parity in our organization. So today, within Cogeco, 36% of women are represented in our overall workforce. And if we look at the different layers, if we look at the VP level and above, 45% are women. Wow. If we go and look at director level and above, 36%. And if we go and take managers and above, it's 33%. So it is extremely key for us to ensure that through the pipeline of talent we have internally and the way we look at career advancement for women, that we ensure that the representation of women from managers and up is also increasing in order to maintain a level that we have set for ourselves in terms of our commitment at management level. So so we track the different levels in a very granular way so that we can really be better positioned to maintain our leadership position, because we do compare positively when we look at our peers and the industry broadly, the telecom industry, because generally speaking, in the telecommunications sector, about 23% of management roles are held by women. So we track well compared to our industry, but at the same time, being granular in how we look at those numbers is extremely key so that we can ensure that we at least consolidate this position and can even increase further.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that accomplishment. And I think you're being modest because you rank extremely highly in the industry. And so, what would you say has been the driver of this kind of leadership position?
So a few things. First of all, I think there is a very strong sense of inclusion within Cogeco, a strong culture of inclusion. Collaboration is extremely key. It's part of our 5 core values. And so I think gender diversity was top of mind, has been top of mind for many years. So I think that's been one of the key driver. And when the company established at the time, many years ago, it's corporate social responsibility program. It started by measuring and tracking the representation of women across the organization in a more structured manner. And our CSR program has really evolved into a more structured ESG program and strategy. And we established a commitment of at least 35% of positions at managerial level and above that are held by women. And we are on track. We actually achieved that 35%. And we disclose, of course, we're very transparent with our numbers in terms of representation of women. We also have parity at our board level. So that's also key. So the board is also important is a major driver as well. The board believes in the importance of gender diversity, gender parity, and they are setting the example as well because we have parity at the board level, which is really important. We also have another driver also has been our Cogeco Women Network, our first employee resource group, as we call them, was established over 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago this year, we're celebrating our 10th year anniversary. And it provided a lot of opportunities for women internally to have great networking opportunities, to have great conferences and learning experiences through the organization of webinars and conferences on topics that were relevant for women and for their personal development and professional development. And we also had through this network of women, we put together a mentorship program. This mentorship program really made a big difference and provided a lot of leadership opportunities for women, and the opportunity also to shine, to really progress in their careers. And maybe last thing I would say, which allows us to maintain that momentum, is the fact that we have also expanded our DEI work and focus beyond gender diversity in the last few years. And we launched other employee resources group, which allows us to recognize the intersections as well of women with other underrepresented groups. So I think it creates even more momentum and a culture that is even stronger.
Wow, that's just amazing. What are you focusing on now that you see as key for the near future? And what are the challenges? Because you're doing so many things.
So I think a big focus is the talent pipeline, career advancement. So if we look at from a hiring standpoint, we need to make sure that we develop a strong pipeline of women for our leadership. So internally, I mentioned the importance of data. So we're analyzing the data, ensuring that we have from a retention, promotion, high potential development, and hiring needs, that we really are structured in analyzing data and drive action based on those data. So that's extremely key. So those are new things we have reinforced, which are giving us the tools to maintain and improve, maintain our leadership position and improve. We also have been a little bit more proactive in working with external partnerships to also attract candidates from other pools, so make sure that we have as much women that are applying for jobs within Cogeco. We are working, for example, with the women in communications and technology, WCT. So we've been a member for many years. We are really leveraging that partnership even better so that we can build our brand as an employer of choice with younger women also and prospective talent. So we're doing both so that we can really position ourselves from a hiring process and practice standpoint. We are ensuring that we look at a diversified pool of candidates. From a broader perspective, we're also this year focusing on a company-wide inclusive leadership training for all our leaders. So that's really something we're focusing on right now, and it's really, really interesting. And it's all this training on unconscious bias and all these things, but we have put together a training that really is really boosting, I think, this aspect of inclusion by really having tools for our leaders to be more inclusive. And we also, at another layer, are also focusing on gender diversity beyond our employees by also being proactive in diversifying our pool of suppliers and focusing when we can on women-owned businesses. So we have reviewed our procurement strategy and have included a focus on women business, and we've been involved also with women business organizations, so that they can be informed of the opportunities to work with us as a supplier as well. In terms of challenges, of course, working environment are going through a transformation with hybrid mode of working, and also ensuring that we are relevant for the younger generation. So and in today's economic environment, we have also challenges to make sure we increase our productivity. There's going to be more and more artificial intelligence, automation, etc. So we need to make sure that we have an attractive employee value proposition for today and tomorrow, and that we drive business performance. So we have to make sure that at the end of the day, we really leverage the power of a diversified pool of employees. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Marie-Hélène, we really appreciate that that you joined us today and gave of your time, because obviously you're very busy. This is an incredible body of work. And, I have to say, we all know it's leaders like you that make the change happen. So, congratulations on all of these accomplishments, and a special thank you to Cogeco for your continuing support of the Chamber and all of this important work. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I think we have great companies doing great things. And I think it's very important to share our experiences. Yeah. And so I'm glad that you invited us. And I look forward to listening to all the other participants. And because at the end of the day, it's absolutely important that we ensure that women have opportunities to fully participate in our economy, and that we access this talent. It's extremely important, and especially in the context of a more difficult economic environment. And I want to thank the Chamber also for championing women in business in Canada and for organizing this summit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.